come and speak to impact life. Because all about impact on life, all about adding value. So let me quickly share my screen now. Let's dive in. Let's discuss. It's going to be by God's grace an interesting session. Let me know when can you see my slide?
Yes, we can see your slide. Sit
I
down.
can put it on full screen. Okay. Okay. You can see the full screen mode now, right?
We can see this full screen, but your next slide is also showing. Are you convenient with that?
Oh yeah, yeah, be on the other side. Yep, yep, it's fine.
Okay.
Yes, my name is Dami. I'm a product owner with AstraZeneca. What I do for a living just helping my company and the team really automate processes. So I'm a pro digital person. I've been doing it for over 13 years right now. Starting from Nigeria, then coming to the US to do my master's, then get my job, my first job, then to what I'm doing now. Then I'm a Salesforce admin person, so I do a lot of Salesforce integration, all kind of CRM integration with every system with to improve customer engagement. So we'll talk about beyond Penn State. I wouldn't prepare our life for, prepare ourselves for life after school. All of us have experienced shifts part time, whether from high school to college, college to graduate program. Now we're trying to like leave graduate program or leave school generally start life. So we're going to go through like the basics and how we can prepare ourselves to, for life after school. So yeah, the goal is just for us to like identify some things about ourselves, set some direction, and also get career readiness, insights and information. Because the key to success in life is information. Especially in this part of the world we live in, right? Is information. We live in an information um world right now. People that are successful and people that are not successful, the difference is the information that they have. So, and there's not like over information or enough of information. We keep learning every day. Even me at my state, I'm still learning every day, and I still navigate my way and learn new things every day. So we're going to talk about things like that. And at the end of the session, we'll have question and answer, mind rubbing too. I don't know everything, we can share ideas also just to like make ourselves better, really and truly. So we'll talk about two aspects. I did two split. First is know yourself. This is the foundation before anything, before prepare for like workplace or life journey, right? We have to talk about the foundation, like purpose, theory of needs, mind mapping, vision and stuff, personality, temperament, emotional intelligence. Those are like the foundation, like this, I call like the soft skill kind of thing. Before we move on to the hard skill, so to speak, and career work journey. So that's why I'm splitting into that. We have to start with this. It's like the foundation before we go to the other segments. So I know everybody have talked about purpose every time. So let me shift this here. Yeah, purpose every time, purpose is like everybody talk about purpose, what is a purpose in life, different things like that. But for when it comes to like career, right? Purpose is very important to identify, like why. Everything in this life has a purpose. There's a why for everything. There's have to be why. So until we understand why of something before we can start pushing towards achieving our goals or start living life. So even when you want to start a career journey, it's like why do I want to work? Most times we want to make money, right? But sometimes always beyond money making. It's always beyond living a life, just having a livelihood. So we need to start looking at what's our purpose in life. Everybody has a purpose in life. Not trying to be spiritual, but God, created each and every one of us for a purpose, for something. Like we're not just here just to live life and and chill. No, there's a purpose. So this is the first step. This is start from like a purpose. Like why am I in this life? Why am I doing what I'm doing? Right? Any decision we make, we should ask why are we doing that? It leads us to it leads us to an end. So we always say begin with the end in mind. Like everything you're doing, what is the end result? What do you want to achieve in this? So I want us to take a note of this image. What you use is in our presentation throughout the session is very important. So look at it as if you have if you have a car, we have a dashboard, right? Just, like it takes indicate a lot of things on our car. For me, I see this as my life as my life dashboard. It shows I use this to check myself. So this is what they call, I don't know if anybody have seen this thing before. Whiz around, have anybody seen this before? Yeah, what's the code? Yeah, so the Esther, and what's the code?
The ma okay, so one
Yeah, anybody can
Hierarchy of
answer.
need. Can anyone hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
yes,
Said it's the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Is that what you're
Exactly
asking?
correct. Yeah, exactly. It's just a muscle, but it is so. I mean, when first time I saw this is about motivation, working, but I started reading more about this thing, not just muscle theory. I mean, it is everything about life. Come to think of it, right? All human beings were at different level, different stages in life. If you check the graph from bottom top, I can see the bottom has more people because most people what don't live life is needing housing, water. That's it, basic. And as we grow in life, so why I look at this as my bodies, I use it as my self appraisal, like everyone. Like, okay, what level am I in this life? Have I achieved my safety needs for it? What's pushing me? Someone is driving me to achieve my esteem needs. And the overall reaching purpose in everybody's life is self-actualization. For example, Elon Musk is the richest man in the world, right? Someone that is rich like that, what does he want to do in life again? Can just be chilling and doing vacation, but no, he wants to take us to space. What is driving that idea? It is self-actualization, where you're thinking above, you're thinking beyond life, you're thinking beyond the basic. That's why he's the richest man in the world because of the way he's thinking no more in this level anymore. He's like space, taking us to space, moon and things like that. And again, not to be too spiritual as Christians, as child of God, God has created us to our basic purpose in life is to make heaven. That's our self-actualization, is to live a purpose life for God and make heaven at the end of the day. So these are the things that to drive us in our career path, like okay, what this motivate us to achieve that purpose, not just safety need. By God's grace, I think me, I'm between, the third and the fourth. But now I'm still struggling. Like I want to get to the extreme. Then when I finish the extreme, I want to get to that self-actualization where you start impacting life, start solving problems at the global level, at a higher scale level. People that do NGOs around the world, they've passed esteem needs. They're not at that level again. They're not impacting, they're not changing the world. And at that level, at the self-actualization level, you have to believe in something. There's a spiritual force. Whether I believe in God or I believe in devil. There's something that will give you that, extra, what I call it now, that extra talent. So we're going to, be coming back to this as we go along. So yeah, so how do we find purpose? What are the ways we find purpose? So that things that will drive us to I just look at that graph again, like what matters to us in this life, what motivates us? What are the things that really, make us happy? What is our strength? What's our weakness? What's our talent? What is our how do we look at people? How do we solve problems? Who's our mentor? Who are we looking, towards? Who are we looking up to? Things like that. So I think that ways we can find our purpose in life. And some people lucky they have found a purpose. Some people are just trying to figure it out at this stage of their life. But we need to think about all of these things, reflect on all of these things to really find our purpose. So again, this is the thing. Everybody at different levels. That's that motivating us as human being. Our psychological needs, safety, love and belongingness, esteem and self-actualization. So as we're going to achieve purpose, we're going to grow in the hierarchy and become a better person in life and achieve our purpose in life. So what's the next? So I was looking at this world map. If you think about the countries that are doing well, that are very innovative, they passed most of the countries, most of the times, they're not dealing with basic needs anymore. Unfortunately, we from Africa, we're still dealing with basic needs. So most of the population cannot be very innovative. We cannot just want to survive. You just survive. There's poverty mentality. I just give me food to eat. I need housing. That's all I'm okay. But the countries that are living, that are, doing extraordinary things, are being innovative, they're, inventing things. They're like esteem to self-actualization. They have passed basically needs. They don't deal with basic need. In the most parts. The most of the people living in those countries are not dealing with what to eat, where to stay, food, all these things have passed that level. So that's why they can think, they can be innovative. So it is really so that why that's environmental theory of needs is for me is motivating factor. It is like an appraiser. I do it every quarter, every year. Like, okay, where am I? What have I achieved? Is it true using that hierarchy of needs? So after we've identified our purpose, right? Is next thing is like okay, vision, like and our goals in life. Because when I started, I said this as the foundation before, without diving into like career paths and trying to work and life after school. So like our vision, what to have have a vision in mind, have a goal in mind, like what's my vision? Like me, personal vision when I started my career. Initially, when I started my career, when I was in university, when I was in college, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Back then in Nigeria, the idea was just go to school, then when I was in college time, that's where the boom of banking sector and telecom. So it's like you must work in telecom, you work in banking, that's where you make money. That's the thing. So I wanted to just work in the bank. I didn't care what and anything I studied. So I didn't even have what I want to do in life. I just want to go to school, work in the bank. But that was the thing then. When I was in school, but fortunately for me, after school, I got my first job was in the bank. I was like, okay, maybe my goal is I'm achieving my goal. No plan, nothing. I was just going with, as I was just going with the flow. But when I got my first job after NYC, I started thinking, what do I want to do in life? Because my final stage of interview then, the company I got a job in, the CEO asked me, what do you want to do in life? What do you want to become in life? I was like, just want to get a job and grow in the ranks, right? But I was happy that the guy gave me a chance because I know I was not, all my answer was not convincing to him. It was just, God just favored me. But after that interview, I was like, thinking, what else will become in life? Not just to work and go into the right. What's that? Even in career path, what I would choose. Unfortunately for me too, I was, deployed to like the analytical team. So I started liking analysis, like doing Excel and stuff. Like, okay, maybe this is my part. I thought I liked sales before because I used to be a very restless person. Like I can't stay in one place. So I thought I liked marketing and sales, going about meeting people and selling things. But that was not what I like to do. I thought I liked finance too, because when I was in school, I did a lot of finance courses and I was liking, accounting and stuff. But that's not what I want to do. So I said, finding my interest, my vision, and goals about digital integration, try to automate processes, try to like make things easy for teams and people. So that's why I started discovering my purpose in life or my career path. So we need to identify after my purpose, we need to have a vision, like what I want to do in this life, what kind of things I want to do in this life, what kind of career path I want to do, then our goals. So our goals now is how will I achieve all of this, this big vision and this big purpose in life. So I know most of us we know what goals are, right? We know how to set smart goals and things like that. Um, so like I said, these are the benefit of having a vision, give us purpose, give us a positive outlook of taking risks, a clear future. So that the things as the vision we have will push us towards those achieving that, growing that hierarchy of needs. I will have our vision, like, oh, every day I can check my box. Okay, I'm closer to my vision. I'm closer to my purpose in life. So it's very important for us to have this at the back of mind. There, I'm sure we all know how to set smart goals, like what have to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Like, not just say, we can't just say I want to be the richest man in the world. How do I become the richest man in the world, right? So I have to set smart goals. Like, do I have to work in a company that will go in the ranks or set up a business? What age do I want to retire in? What age do I want to make my first $1,000 or $1 million? Things like that. I have to have specific goals in mind. And even if I would be in like corporate world, right? How long do you want to be in corporate world? How do you want to go in the ranks? The things you need to do? What certification you need to do to grow, to become maybe a director, a VP, a CEO someday? What is the timeline for things like that? So we need to like put everything like in the writing and make everything smart. We need to put time to it. Um, this is the reason why we set the goal. Give us focus. This is the thing that motivates us every day. Wake up in the morning, do what we're doing. everyone's have a purpose in life, right? So we have goals. The World Cup that just ended yesterday. Imagine that you're just playing ball. There's no goalposts. Whereas everybody we're just wasting our time. So that's how life is. Like having goals helps us to become better in our life. Gives us focus, let us measure progress. So every quarter, every year, like what I do, I try to measure. Okay, what have I done this year? You know, all my goals for this year. Have I achieved them? What's the percentage? Do I need to go further on? And it helps us overcome procrastination. It gives us motivation. You know, when you're achieving your goal little by little, you're motivated, like, yeah, I can achieve this thing. I can get to that self-actualization at the end of the day. So it helps us, so it keeps us motivated a lot. So I don't know if you guys have heard of what they call mind mapping before. We show events. Have anybody? Okay, I can see some now, yeah. So mind mapping is a way that you now that idea you have, that goals you have, like you put in like in the visual format. For me, I'm a visual person, right? I like to put if I have an idea, I'm gonna write it down so that I'll remember, then put it in a graphical format and visual way. So mind mapping is a very good resource and tool to always use to to plan anything, set even goal set anything. It could be as little as planning the vacation or your schedule every day in class or something. It's very, very, very important tool to plan, our mind. And I can share this. So just going back to the first slide, I talked about this mind mapping helps, give put us in check so in this hierarchy of needs and how we are moving along the hierarchy. And I can share some tools of mind mapping templates, tools they can use for mind mapping. Just the first three that AI just put the prompt like, hey, this idea I have, can you draw up a mind map of this and that? I need to give it to you. So we can always take advantage of all these tools than actually writing down or typing. Just put the prompt in each of these tools and can help you build those views right. You can easily see and can print them out or save them in your computer or something. So that it could help us. So going to personality and temperament. So I know there's a lot of talk about personality, temperament, and things like that, but it's very important to know that when we want to go to workplace, right? We need to understand this is important concept, not just knowing as basic thing about life, but in corporate world, you need to understand personality a lot. Firstly, understand your own personality, understand your temperament. That will help us grow in corporate world because if you don't understand personality and temperament, it makes us lack emotional intelligence. So these are the way it captures the way we think, the way we feel, the way we behave, right? In everything we do, and the way we make our decision. So employers want to see how your temperament, don't understand your personality. That's why in a team of people met people with different temperament and personalities together, they can't have the same team. The team you're not going to be successful, cannot grow. So, as intending employee, we need to understand what personality is. That to also drive and determine what kind of career paths you want to choose, right? You determine what kind of industry you want to work at. For example, pilots, put that pilot, so that's kind of a set kind of temperament and personality. So that's drive kind of career path they've chosen for themselves. Put that like air hostess, for example, cabin crew. Someone that's not patient cannot do that kind of job. Someone that cannot work under pressure cannot do that kind of job. So all this kind of things, we need to identify our own self first. Then that was the time like, hey, what can I do? Like someone like me, I can't go and join the military. I don't have the temperament for it. Do you understand? So, but some people are passionate about it. So that was the time, yeah. So it's very important for us to know that. So I just, personality is just combination of our characteristics, qualities that form our character, just the things that form the way we act, just our character, everything is our personality. You can see somebody's personality is very funny, person is jovial, person is street, those kind of things. You could see all those kind of traits. And those affect the way those individuals, operate in the corporate setting, even in life generally. And similar to that, so temperament is the way out the way we react. Some people are very calm in the sense that they don't like confrontation, right? Just let them cool off and come back to them. So people they want to say it as hot as even though the arguments or they want to say it like that. So we need to understand our own temperament before we can try to understand other people's own. I try to manage people because corporate was about managing people's emotions, about managing people, it's people's management. And during the interview too, apart from your skills, they want to see potential. Does this person have good emotional intelligence? So if you have any question, you can stop me, don't have to wait to the end. If you have any questions, stop me anytime. So we have four, very popular temperaments: sanguine, choleric, melancholy, and phlegmatic. So we don't understand where do we fall in. So I actually have a boss that's very melancholic. So anytime I go to talk to her, I must give her figures. I can't just tell her things like, I have to give her justification in figure way, like analysis. So if I don't know her temperament, right, I will not survive with her because she was very, very, so initially I thought she was just harsh and wicked, but no, she liked data, like, detail, not just send one sentence email. You have to give her a brief and everything. So I just started understanding her temperament, and when I became good friends, even though she was my boss. But now my new manager, she's very, very sanguine. I don't have to. I just psych her. Just tell her nice things that you're good. She don't care about work. She wants to talk about how you're feeling. Why is your family? So I understood her temperament. So I know cannot deal with my former manager, and my new manager in the same way because that they have different temperaments. So this one, she doesn't care about figures. So when you're doing your job well, there's no issue. You're good. Just once you meet with her, she wants to ask you about your family, about have you eaten, these personal things. My former boss doesn't care about personal things, just straight to the business analysis, details. So, so that's why I hope to like manage my boss I work with based on their temperament. My current boss is where I can't be giving that details. She doesn't care. He's like, I'm wasting our time, Just like, is there any issue? There's no issue. We're good. Don't talk too much. So these are things are very important for us to know from ourselves and other people to make us work well in corporate settings and understand the kind of colleagues you have. I have a colleague that is very, very choleric. I always talk to him when he's calm, because he can flare up. So all this kind of thing help people navigate the workplace and work better. And each of these temperament have their strengths and their weakness. So as individuals, we need to understand what will fall in place and that our strength, make our strength the key thing. Let's work more of our strength. Let's portray more, of our strength and work on our weaknesses. I mean, area of growth. I don't call it weakness, but area of growth. Because nobody's perfect, right? We'll have some things that we're lacking. So we need to like um work on those parts, then really showcase more of our strength based on our temperament. So just as a key difference between temperament and personality, temperament is just the way our style, the way we behave. And personality is how we behave. Like how, or what does the person do, why. So, and it's the person that shape the temperament of a person. So they're kind of, interrelated, but they're kind of slightly different. So if anybody have any question before I go forward, move forward.
I'm sorry, I wanted to mention that people are dropping questions
Oh,
on
okay.
the link and they're going to ask after you're done.
Okay, okay, sounds good. Thank you. So, this is linked to the QR code for personality test and temperament. You can always take it every time in case we need. You can scan and just take it for us to know what our temperament is and what our personality is. And with those around us too, maybe there's some colleague, classmate is being difficult. You can just look at different kind of temperament and personality. Like, oh, like no wonder this person's acting this way because I didn't know the kind of temperament person has. So it's a very important tool for us to like have. And it helps me to anytime I have like I change job, right, or my team, there's a structure where I have new team members or a new manager. I always try to like do this again. Just try to best of my knowledge to do the test on the new manager to see what kind of temperament the person has or the personality the person has. So it's a very, very good resource. So moving on now, we've talked about the foundation now. So now let's talk about, like I say, that most people want to work because they want to have a livelihood and make real money. But money itself, want to make money, want to be rich, want to be comfortable and grow in the hierarchy of needs, right? But money itself, not just money, it's not money like that. There's no free money, except, what there's fraud or scam, but there's not really free money like that. Money is just value exchange. It was our value for money to come to you. Even companies too. Companies employ people that they think they're going to add value to them. Because as an employee too, we're solving a problem. You might not see it like big deal, but that problem you're solving is contributing to an entire, enterprise goal. Because if the company don't recruitment process, they don't see that this person can add value to our company, they want to employ somebody. And that's how we make money. So even though it's working for somebody or our own business, even when we're selling something, we look at it like, what does this thing I'm selling, what value does it bring to customer? Not just making money. Companies that are adding value in the world, check them out. They are still succeeding to today, and their value is great. Unlike people that don't want to make money, sharp, sharp money, they don't last long. They just want to make, low quality stuff just to make profit making. They don't last long. But companies that are focused on value, solving problems, that they want to last long, 100 years, 200 years, is about solving problems. So that's how we make real money is value, exchange of value, really. That's how we make money. And the potential and eagerness to solve problem anywhere we find ourselves, that's how, we convert that to a money resource. So talk about now from, school to workplace. How do we transition? How do we close the gap? So this is now where now we've finished the foundation. Now we're going to like the main thing about transitioning to workplace. One basic thing we should do is first we'll identify what like the people talk about what area they want to do, what area they want to work at, what industry, what kind of job they want to do. That we did from that thought and that when we have those kind of thoughts on our side, we start exploring options like, okay, where will I apply all this job for? So that our search will not be, refined and just not just applying to jobs in every way, just any job. No, it is what part we don't like me. Like I said, financial services have been my thing from day one. So fortunately, I was working in financial services, banking, insurance, investment banking, and so that was my core. But when I moved to America, my first job was in investment bank. And I was like, I can still do this thing in any industry. Then I know that another industry I know is very valuable. First, the pay high, and number two is your impact is known is healthcare. And I just study medicine. And what can I do in healthcare? I can't go to work in the hospital. The only way I can work is any healthcare related company, like so pharmaceutical, because I know that the job I do would impact patients. So like the job I do now, so every patient that's under our medication, because we produce medication, all right, especially all this specialty care like cancer care, all of those things. So people that are on that medication, what my team does is all our digital platform is to make sure that the patients and providers have better engagement to our therapy. For example, so they can do like self-care, for example, they can request for a new medication because all this medication is not like one time and it's done. No, it's not really cancer work. It is like long time medication to like forever because there's no 100% cure like that. So what we do is to make them do self-service option. We give them all this digital platform to do self-service option to request for medication, request for refill. You don't want to change medication. Maybe we have a new indication, for example. We have this platform where they can easily, request for the new thing and just easily engage with our patient and our doctors. So the job I'm doing is really impacting life of people. People are getting better in that, they're having, longer life. They're living longer life because what kind of job we do. Because medication, we're engaging them. They know what's the new therapy is coming. They know that they can upgrade their medication that's coming out very soon. So things like that. So what I identify what is that what I want to do. So people like to, work in food company, they're
Wá.
interested in
Ó dẹ̀ tún padà lọ síbẹ̀ bá. Irọ́ ló ń pa ọ́.
manufacturing. They want to like, you know,
No,
solve
no,
problem in that industry. So what I identify what our career path, looks like, not just any job. Any job is not good. I mean, sometimes out of desperation, like let's just get a job and income to get an income. But if you have a particular industry in mind and a pathway in mind, like my pathway has been digital, I don't want to do anything else. Even though by course, I thought the business had me, I could do anything, I could do accounts and marketing, I could do human resources, right? But I chose digital because I feel like I like automation. I want people to use, less click, digital tools. So that's why I chose that way. So what identify what part we're going to do, that will make us start preparing ourselves for workplace after school. And with that part, we can easily, translate our skills, our academic skills also into that pathway once we discover it. So, I mean, most all of us are students, and ex-student, we have skills already that employers are looking for, like critical thinking. I want to see how well can you think, problem solving, project management. Project management is not like only for project managers. Every task you're doing is project management, But when they employ you to a company, there's a job description that you do this and this with the project to the finish line, right? They how do you analyze data? So data analysis is not just for data analysis or data science. It's like how do you make decision? When you're making decision, you have to have some things in place. You have to analyze some things. Because as you're working, most companies allow you to make decisions by yourself. They give you ownership from day one. Most bosses don't micromanage anymore like that. I mean, some bosses still do, but I don't like bosses that micromanage. So they give that ownership from day one. So that's the analytical skill. Like my decision, are they right? Or how much right decision do I make? Communication, we talk to people every day. How to understand emotional intelligence, temperament, personality of your colleagues, people you collaborate with. Resilience, working under pressure, a lot of pressure. Corporate America is this pressure. We work like too much pressure, Monday to Friday. Just have to sometimes work. But can you cope with that kind of culture, that kind of things? We need and all of us have those kind of skills, but sometimes we just don't know it. Like I say, independent learning, like you have to be an expert on your job, you have to learn on the job. Because guess what? Once a company is employing you, they don't employ you that because you know everything. No, they employ you because you have potential that you can learn this thing. You have some basic knowledge, right? But you can know, yeah, yeah, you're open to learn. You're able to grow. Like for example, my current job, our focus of CRM was Salesforce. I've now worked on Salesforce before in my life. I've done other CRM platform. CRM is customer relations management tool. Is a platform that they use to like house every customer data. So I worked on different CRM platforms. I've never done Salesforce before. So even when I applied for the role, like this guy will not come for interview because they emphasize that Salesforce is a must. Or like, but in the interview, I told them what I've done with other CRM platform. So they said that okay, there's a potential that since I've used other platform, I can learn this CRM platform. And today I know CRM very well. I know Salesforce very well now. So most of the time, it's not about what you know, it's what you can do or what you don't know about what you have done, but what you can do. That potential, I don't see that potential in you. Can this person learn? Can this person grow? People want employees that can learn and grow. Then, like I said, so to bridge the gap from, going to the corporate world is, you have to clarify your value, you have to build a brand, expand your network, tell your story, again, the value, what kind of industry you want to go, what kind of job do I want to do, what is my career pathway? We have to really understand that career path. In that career path, what certification do I need? Do I need some certification? There are free certification platform now, like Coursera, for example, where you could I mean, sometimes I don't really recognize like that, but from there you can get an idea of, what this pathway is all about. Then be the brand. You have to be active on, career platform, not just social media like Instagram or TikTok. Those are fine, but we have to build a brand in a lot. I use LinkedIn or use Glassdoor, Indeed. Me, I use LinkedIn. I know some people, I use LinkedIn a lot. LinkedIn is like my Facebook. I'm always active on LinkedIn. And for me some people say LinkedIn work for all my job I've got is on through LinkedIn. Some people say LinkedIn don't work for them. So, but I'll share different kind of sites you can use. But LinkedIn has worked for me 100%. That's the only thing I use. But I recommend other platforms like Glassdoor and the rest. So you have to be active, put your profile, let it make sense, like a brand. So we are a product. Look at it that way. So if you want to buy something, go to the store, want to buy a product. If you look at the packaging, right? The packaging looks good. I'm interested in it, the color and everything. You read the description of the thing and you buy. That's how we are. So our LinkedIn is like our package. It's like our our package, what does it say about us? What does our brand say? What is this person involving? Not just everything. That was a mistake I made when I first started working in Nigeria. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I was just like everywhere. My LinkedIn was messed up. Like I was everywhere because I mean in Nigeria, when you get a job, you get a job as entry level. They call it entry level, right? Entry level means you're starting up. They can train you across all the board of the company, whether it's marketing, finance. So my LinkedIn was just like I did finance, I did analysis, I did marketing. So, but I mean, I started doing data analysis, I started doing digital. But when I moved to the US is different entirely. US want to know what are you experts in? Because then before I finished my MBA in IUP, then I was applying for a job for my um um OPT, right? I was not getting interviewed or getting bound. Like, what's going on? What's going on? I thought I have job experience in Nigeria. Now I was like, ah. So I met with somebody. The person told me that America is different. They need skills. What is your experts? And if you notice, most people that are growing in corporate America, it's not about the academic, it's about the work experience, about all the experience they have. So I'm like, okay, so what I did was streamline my LinkedIn, my resume to a particular skill set, to a particular part, to a particular area. And that's how like give me interview. So I have to like identify what we need to do again up that pathway. So for choosing a pathway or company we want to work with, these are the things that we should consider, like compensation, benefit, career culture. That's the like driving force for employee to choose an employer. Some companies, great, they have everything. Some companies, they pay you well, but their culture is bad, all right? Some companies, the benefit is good, but money is small, you know. Some companies, right, the career is quick. The money may not be big initially, but you are sure that you can grow quickly and you make the money. Some companies, they don't pay well, but they have good culture. The culture is good, they give you ownership, all that kind of thing. So sometimes, as intending employee, we need to consider what is big for me, what do I want? At least you will have two that is a yes for you, and you know that like, or you know, no way I can't do without these two things. Like for me, when I was starting my career, for me in Nigeria, the money was not really, I was not really after money. I was after a brand, culture. I wanted a big company. Why I wanted a big company was because of my resume. I believe that if you can work in a big company, right, it will open doors for other opportunities. And I've been fortunate, I've been working for big companies, like global companies. My first job out of school was GT Bank. I know people don't know GT Bank in Nigeria. It's a big company, you know. Then my then after NYC, I got my job with AXA Mansa Insurance, a big insurance company. Coming to America after my MBA was Morgan Stanley. So for me, Morgan Stanley was the money when I got my offer letter with Morgan Stanley, even though it was OPT, right? The money was ridiculous. But my friend insulted me, why am I going to take that kind of job? The money was when I was doing my like because as a student, we were doing like different kind of gig here and they was making more money. Morgan Stanley called me to come and work for them. And the money was like, but I chose because they had a big name. They have good culture. The name is good. The brand is good. Guess what? When I started working 3 months into my job, I started getting interviews everywhere from different companies because of I chose that company. So what do I choose? What's our motivation? Like, are we after someone that pay us six figure and the culture is terrible or they have benefits, you know? So this four area is very key for internal employees to consider when you are searching for a job. We start a company, just go for any company to give you, no, don't just, apply for every company. Look at that culture. And I think you look up companies that are always in best place to work is a very good companies that are on those lists that are good companies. Most of the time they pay well. Most of the time the career is good, the culture is good, benefits is good. So those companies on those lists are always very, very um good places to look at, not just any company. And I can say we should identify our roles, like we want to be working operations, finance, human resources, marketing, product and tech, based on again our personality, our temperaments, and what our career path is. Sometimes not what you study in school. Sometimes you can study something and you want to do something else. So I run a consulting company where we do essentially where we do like IT gig work. So there's a lady that does my UI UX design for me. She studied economics in school. Initially, she's my cousin. So I used to tell her that just come and do MBA, go and work in World Bank and things like that. But no, that's not what she's interested in. Now she's like tech person. She like product stuff. She's doing UI designing, building things, but she studied economics. And I was thinking for her that she just do like financial service, maybe Morgan Stanley, JP Morgan, World Bank, because that's a hard part because of what you study. So sometimes what you study is not what else you might want to do. So you can always change, right? You can always change, like even though you study something else, is that what you want to do as career path, right? So I have to think about I have to think about what kind of career path I want to that we enjoy doing that I'll be happy that I'm adding value, I'm having no problem. So let's not, I mean, money is good that, yeah, we need to make the money, but sometimes it's always best when you're doing something you love and you're making money again. It's sweet. That's the best life. But if you're focused on the money and I don't like you yourself, you know, be motivated on the job, you know, be solving problem, and the company will know that this person is just not adding value, and they just let the person go. So that the areas, I mean, there are multiple areas of every organization, but these are the basic core, areas or business areas every organization have, no matter whether it's NGO, whether it's uh religious organization, every organization have this kind of core business area. So that the different industry can work out, financial services, healthcare, government. Some people love government work. Personally, I don't like government work. I don't know why. The benefit is good, but some people like government work a lot. So people like media and entertainment. So we have to choose our industry, Me, I actually like financial services and fintech, but now I'm in healthcare because healthcare, there's money in healthcare too, because, we cannot, people will be this, disease and sickness, and people they have to bring medication. Sign like technology, education and non-profits, marketing, sales, consulting, sports. I never knew until this World Cup that ended. Because I didn't watch football as much, but I never knew that football, sports is a very big. I know American football, American league is big, but I never knew that this FIFA thing is big industry. People make a lot of money from it. People are passionate about it, and they have different section, people that make this World Cup to become very successful. So some people that have passion, some people want to be a coach and they'll grow that in that, or a sport news person. So you have to identify what area they want to do. Whether it's government or politics. Politics can be a career. People can be you get some people that career politician can be a career path if you want to choose it. Even ministry can be a career path. I know God called people, but sometimes it can be career paths if you want. I mean, but I mean, the people that they employ them and they work, not being a pastor per se, but working like an administrative part of a religious organization. So what's to identify what industry we would like to work at? Like me, I can't work in education and non-profit. I don't like education and non-profit. I don't like government, except they give me political appointment, maybe. But I like financial. I like healthcare. Yeah, I like fintech. So what identify what industry we want. So now it's how we're going to create our brand, right? I know there's a lot of resume, cover letter, all these things. We hear it every day, but it's very important for us to like deliberately have a very good resume. Like I say, it's a brand package, right? Because when you apply for jobs, that's what they see. And what is in your resume, that matters how you get recruiter to call you back or something. It's very important. And guess what? Life is easy now. There's AI tool that help us, do good resume. Since life is easy, just tell AI what to do. Give good prompting and you're good. So yeah, your personal brands, your resume, your LinkedIn, your portfolio. Some people in tech, they have to create like a portfolio, like a GitHub, profile, things like that. Me, I don't have a portfolio because I've been in corporate fintech. I didn't start as gig fintech. I started as corporate. So people that start as gig fintech, you have to create portfolio, you have a portfolio yourself. So that's the things that's very important. So these are the basic component of a strong resume. I'm sure most of us know about all of this thing, our content information. Professional summary is very key. I never knew that, until like 5 years ago. It's very, very key. Like, what is promotional summary? Talk about your value, like your career value, like this is going to solve, and AI can help you write that based on what career path you want to do. Then talk about your skills. So skills is, you got to determine what kind of job you're applying to. And experience and education and certification are very important. And again, so cover letter is very important. If you apply for a job, you can't just use resume and that's it. No, cover letter is very good. Sometimes we think they don't read it, but they read it because I've been fortunate to be in like interview panels and we see all these things, cover letter. So some cover letter are very, very like, oh wow, I want to meet this person. We have to put things like our value proposition, problem solving skills, those kind of things, like a letter, like, hey, this is what I want to do if you guys give me a chance to employ me. So just like as we write our resume, cover letter is very important information for us to like had when we're applying for jobs. So there are different job board we have, we have different, there are lots, there are even more than these. But for me, I use LinkedIn a lot. I use Indeed sometimes. Yeah, so you can always use anyone that works for us. You can use anyone that works for us. But it's good to really put a good profile on this job board. If you just stick to one, stick to one. Good, put a good headshot photo. Not just put entertainment photo. No, people like this guy, this person is not serious. You have to put good photo, like professional. Let them look, wear tie suit, or dress corporate card or something. Put good um profile summary. Put other things. Everything. Even though you volunteer in church, you can put like my LinkedIn is there. So everything's work is volunteer. Is yeah, solving problem somewhere. Just put in your LinkedIn, you volunteer this kind of thing you achieve. Even all your experience, put that things you achieve. Because recruiters check people's profile a lot. They check it before they won't call anyone for interview. So it's important for us to like revamp our resume, revamp our cover letter, and revamp our profile from any of these job board that we choose to use. Then so these are things have changed, we have AI tools now. So these are the things you can use for job search toolkits. Well, if you want to apply for a job, like what is AI tool that can help you or to apply for jobs? You can use them, any of them. Some of them are not free, pay small thing for them, but just tell them what to do. They can apply multiple jobs for you. Like back in the days where we have to apply, you will edit resume, it was a lot of work, but now it's easy. Just the prompts and you're good. So those are the tools you can use for this left part. This one help this one helps you. Yes, sir. This one helps you, like, if you want to, like, revamp your resume, revamp cover letter. These are the AI tools that can help you do it. You can just tell AI the prompt, like, hey, I'm trying to apply for software engineer at Amazon or something. You give a good prompt, like, let it pass, recruiter's high to be called for an interview, something like that. It will create a very good resume for you. And this is like advanced AI agent that can help you automate everything, help you, like, do everything in one update your resume, your cover letter, and apply for jobs for you. Just automate all the process. So these are with the advent of AI, we can take advantage of this and make life easy for us. So these are just basically, like I say, for any job board that we choose to do, like picture is very important, profile picture is very important, background, things like that, your headline, your skills, work experience. It's good to have recommendations. Like if people recommend something, just send people, give me a recommendation on my LinkedIn. It show on your page and it's a very good thing. Especially people that have worked or with before in the past. And visibility is key. Post things on LinkedIn, post your ideas, your thoughts of something based on your pathway, based on what industry you want to work at or you're working in. Just post things. People start noticing you. Visibility is very key. In America, especially, when I was in Nigeria, I was never active on LinkedIn. I was never active. I had it, but I was not active. When I came to America, I was like, oh wow, this is big. Like all this kind of thing, this package branding is very, very is big in the US. So this is just like a snapshot of the process, like finding a job, you have to search for the job you want to do, apply online, you know, be patient, they do interview. But when we want to cross the initial interview and second interview, for me, I feel that that's it. They're going to get the job. Because interview is just to talk, just to sell yourself, just tell them the vision you have for the role, like what value are you going to bring to the role, what problem are you going to solve. It's not about they don't want to see that you have all this academic or whatever. I mean that will give you a foot to the door, but they want to see this person trainable, this person have potential to solve problem. That's just a snapshot of the application process. Then once we're in the job already, there's corporate politics. There's a lot of politics going on everywhere. I used to think it just come from Nigeria. I thought it's just Nigeria. In America, it's huge and it is like coded to what. But one thing I've learned about politics and corporate world is first when you go to go to a company, when you start working in a place, understand the environment first. Understand eyes what what's growth like, what's the culture here like. Do you understand? Understand the first 3 months, understand how how the politics is going. And again, that temperament I talked about, personality I talked about to play a key role. What kind of temperament and personality does your manager have? Like my current manager,
So
she's
that's
just so nice. I can psych her, we're good. So, that's the politics that you play. Like, oh, okay. She like to hear good things. She like to talk about her dog or animals.
that,
That's it. She'll win her heart already.
Mr.
So,
Dami.
yes, please. You're on mute.
We kind of like run out of time already.
Oh,
So
yeah,
we
I'm
can
running up now. Yeah, this
have time
is
for question and answer. Yeah.
okay. Yeah. Yeah, more than that. It is just, corporate politics that you identify, get a mentor, get someone that that's powerful in the company so you basically can be a mentor, build social network. Yeah, that's just navigate ourselves, and observe the company. And yeah, I think that's everything. AI is shipping everywhere. Good news, AI is not taking our jobs yet, but we have to incorporate how we are working with AI alongside what we do on our job. Yeah, and yeah, that's it. Thank you. I'll take questions now.
Thank you
Okay,
so much.
thank you very much, sir. That was a very wonderful session. Thank you.
Sure,
More
sure.
grace to you. We have a couple of questions here, in fact, a lot, and I
Uh,
tried to group them together to make it easier to answer. So the first set of questions that we have
mhm.
here says, what do employers expect from someone during their first 90 days on the job? How can you entrust as a new professional? If there's one advice you want to give to new professional, what would that be? And what are the biggest mistake to avoid in your first
Yeah,
job?
first thing 90 days is to do the work they employ to do. So when they're recruiting somebody, there's something they're working on at that time that they recruited the person on, right? They need somebody for that. Maybe maybe a project or something. They need somebody to handle a task for that period. So that first 90 days is to concentrate on that task you are employed to do. Then after that first 90 days, after I've done the task, now start looking at how else can I like solve problem in this team? How can I become valuable in this team? So you start doing extra things. So that first 90 days is the task I've employed you to is try to do the task and do it well. And number two, try to understand the environment, like your team member, like temperament we talk about, the personality, your manager. Try to understand what the manager likes, things like that, right? And always have, if possible, a weekly one-on-one with the manager. Once first 90 days. After full 90 days, you can do maybe every month. Have a touch base with the hiring manager or the manager of the team every week to understand, to give progress of your tasks you're doing and understand, to get feedback. So am I doing it well? There's something to change, I need to tweak. Have that constant one-on-one on a weekly basis in the first 90 days with the hiring manager.
Okay.
Yeah, I think yes.
Yeah, so what are the biggest mistake to avoid?
Basic mistake to avoid is assume that they know what you're doing. Ask questions, even though because ways of working is different. Every company, every team. Or don't assume that yeah, they know what you're doing. You figure it out. No, ask questions. Ask questions. There's no in asking questions as much as possible. Ask your
Okay.
colleague question, even though you know it already, right? It might be the way they're doing this might be different, but you're new. Uh, big mistake there. People will think I don't know, I'm a professional in this, I'm an expert. I don't need help. I will do it myself. And they will fail because this is not how we do it in this team. So I've seen people like that like in my company, they don't last long because they feel like you just came and you're doing the kind of mistake. We don't work, you don't ask questions. So ask questions and learn as much as possible the culture, the way they work in that team, even though you know what you're doing, but try to learn how to work in that team.
Okay, so that leads us to the next question. How do you balance asking question with trying to figure out things on your own?
Hmm. I mean, if I feel, no, it's definitely, even though you know what you're doing, right? When you ask a question, you need to confirm that, okay, I'm doing the right thing, just to check yourself, to check yourself, so that you understand, like, just to keep yourself in check, like, hey, okay, I think I know what I'm doing the right thing.
Okay.
So even though you're doing it by yourself, right, it's just good to know. So because you learn the ways of working. I might learn something easier. And I'll tell you that no, we don't do this way in this team. We'll do it this way to be easier. So yeah, first time I need to ask question as much as possible, even though you know what you're doing.
Thank you very much. So the
Yeah.
next set of question is, how do you handle unfair and wicked bosses, difficult co-workers, and office politics professionally?
Yep. Firstly is the temperament. So when joined this company, my first boss, very, very wicked person. So initially I thought it was a cultural thing because since she's an immigrant from, the Asia continent, I don't mention the country. So it was difficult for me. It was like I was very frustrated because I thought maybe she hated Africa or something. Then I now understood. I started understanding her temperament and personality. She doesn't like. She wants, even though you're doing your work, well, she wants to see that analysis. You want to see like justification what you're doing. You want to see it out there, like just send out what they've worked, what they've achieved. So for me, like micromanager, right? But that's why I went to manager. And if you have that experience, there's nothing you can really do. The only thing you can do number one is to really talk to the person, like, hey, feedback, am I doing something wrong? If I person your manager, just get feedback. How do I need to do better to be a good, person on this team? Because if your manager, you cannot fight with your manager. Manager is they're the one that praise and everything. For co-worker, that's very difficult. For me, I try to understand my co-worker temperament, and as much as possible, I try to avoid. I mean, we do work together and that's it. Nothing personal, just work and that's it. So what I try to do, not take anything personal. Everything ends at work, so we got to get the job done, but every other thing, I've tried to avoid the person on a personal level as much as possible. And it's doable because in American work system, there's no too much personal interaction like that. So you can really easily avoid somebody. So I try to avoid someone like that as much as possible. Get the job done, not take it personal or good. For my manager too, same thing. I try to understand her temperament and her personality. I try to talk to person on a one-on-one and be open, like, hey, like what's going on? Like you have to be indirect. I can't say you hate me or something. But you say, what am I doing wrong? Is there anything to improve on that you don't like? Things like that. Person will tell you. And if the person is still difficult, man, you can escalate it to the higher up. So human resources.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
So the next one is, what do you do when you are underpaid for your job?
Well, so the difference you can number one, I mean, you have to search for a better paying job and leave, definitely. Number two, so some companies where they can increase, like my company, they don't promote you to increase your salary. So you can make justification like I need increase in salary. How do you make justification? Is so show your value. What problem have you solved? Like for the past year, and I know what I've done. So you have to keep record of what you have done, not just your job, like extra thing you have done. Just like everybody will do that job. They're employed to do the job, right? But what is the extra thing? What problem did you solve? What extra thing did you do? That justification you now do. Like, hey, my manager, this is what I've done. I think like because I have these skills, I have this certification, this and that. I feel I need an increase for next payroll. So and then we once you do all these things, yeah, they might approve it. So if they don't approve it, you just leave the company apart for a higher payroll.
Okay. So we have a question here on, how can someone without a technical background break into product management? And a follow-up question here says, regardless of the career industry, what are the top three cross-functional capabilities that will differentiate high-impact professionals over the next 5 to 10 years in this age and time? And how can one begin developing them today?
Yeah, so the first thing, the product or project management is a no code, low code tech, all right? First thing, just do certification. That's what you need. Don't we need once you get certifications, some certification will give you all this hands-on training, project you work on by the side. Once you do that, that's it. You don't even need that long experience. It's certification in product management or project management. You can do PIMP or Agile Save, which I have, is for product management. Just yeah, do certification. You'll be good on that because they're low code, no code tech. Then for the other one, workplaces change, so you have to be able to see that you can adapt in use of AI, especially. How can AI benefit you on your job? So you have to think of a career path that you can incorporate AI into. I mean, you have to be open to incorporate AI into your job. AI, you can use AI for anything now. Whether it's you're a doctor, you're a nurse, anything. That prompting, that how can use AI tools, right? You have to know how to use those AI to prepare yourself for workplace that's ever changing. People that they always lay off in big companies that AI is changing. It's not because of AI, it's because they're not willing to adapt to change. They're always like, I like what I'm doing, what I used to what we're doing. This AI things is a threat to me, but no, AI is supposed to be where we could sync and align with what we do in our job. I don't know if I answered that question.
Yes, thank you. So the last set of questions, the first one here
Mm-hmm.
is for someone who recently graduated from the United States and returned home, what would you suggest as the next step for them to take? And then for international students that remain in the US, how can we
Mm-hmm.
effectively navigate the cultural differences? Like your boss and your manager are like Americans and you're African. How can we navigate the cultural differences?
Okay. So the person that went back, I don't know what country the person went back to. It's a good thing that you have American education. It's big in Africa. Apparently in Nigeria, it gives you leverage. If you have American education, I if you do like a master's or PhD or whatever you do, even BSc, it gives you leverage. So person apply for top companies, especially companies that are international. Like they're not like Nigerian owned, for example, they're like international companies like maybe MTN or AXA or something or Citibank. It depends on your industry. But apply for jobs, you get good good offer because of your American experience. People that are here, like I said, you have to package yourself very well. LinkedIn, um, your resume, cover letter, apply for jobs you want to what companies you want to apply to. And be active on LinkedIn. That's where recruiters will reach you easily. And based on your boss culture and race, right? Have an open mind. Like me, I have an open mind. I can work with anybody. I don't know. I don't know if it's sad or good to say. So far in my work experience in America, I prefer working with an American boss. I don't know why. From my experience, immigrant bosses are very, 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 very like strict. They're very strict. So they're very. I don't know why we're like that. I mean, if I become a boss, I won't be strict like that. Especially if you are from the same kind of culture, right? Like a Nigerian. I mean, I try to avoid Nigerian boss. I don't know, but I'm very open. I can work with anybody, so I have an open mind. Like and just don't take it personal. Just do the job. Do your job well, not to do your job well, so that they don't find you wanting when they're trying to like do layoff and things like that. If you do your job well, like my other boss I told you about that she was very difficult for me. If she had that way, she'd have laid me off, but because I was doing my job well, I was an expert, so she didn't have any anything against him. So I didn't take anything personal. I just do my job, do everything, I go home, nothing personal. Everything ends at work. But now I'm here, 4 years I've survived, because I had an open mind. Somebody in that team resigned because of that manager, because the person couldn't even cope. I like, I mean, me, I'm African. I mean, we're tough, so we have open mind. So that's why I would say have an open mind and just be good at the job, be an expert at the job, so that they don't find you wanting.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Sorry, one last one.
Mhm.
With the new immigration rules, do you think
Yeah.
all of those things have effect on our productivity or even landing a good job here in America?
So, I mean, immigration is just, people are still learning job very well. So it depends. If you want a job sponsor, that's what the problem is. It's no more as easy as back in the days. It's still there, but you have to be extra, 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 like extra for a company can sponsor. But just normal, like regular job, like OPT and stuff. Company that see employing people with OPT is easy. I mean, you can still get jobs. If you have work permits, they'll employ you. There's no problem about that. But it's getting a job that will sponsor. That's what the problem is. And to get a job as a sponsor, we know the companies that always do it, the big tech companies, or if you're an healthcare doctor or nurse, and stuff like that. But every other field, it's very hard to get a competent sponsor. So yeah, immigration for now is just tough. So companies are shy away about all this ends in immigration, except the person is very extra. They can sacrifice anything for the person. So yeah, that's all I can say because it's just beyond. It's a political thing, beyond any organization really.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. That's
But-
that's like a whole big conference that we've had in an
Yeah,
hour.
thank you.
Thank you. We enjoyed it. We've learned more. Wisdom and knowledge has expanded on these things. And God
Yeah,
bless you greatly in Jesus'
yeah,
name.
thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So to everyone, thank you for joining. Thank you for coming. And please try as much as possible. Kindly follow us on LinkedIn on Springboard SC, Springboard State College. And we look forward to seeing you and having you on LinkedIn and all of our other social media platforms. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye bye.